one I saw the media putting out, not what we the parties are. The media putting out was about 227 constituencies, and the details were there about who has won what. So please do not be deceived by any candidate, especially candidate Mahama at this point in time that his party has won parliamentary majority. That's item number one that we need to tell the people of Ghana and the international community about. Item number two is a dangerous matter. This dog whistle to supporters by the candidate that they should jubilate. And we are clear. This is a dog whistle to people to get out on the streets and jubilate. Now, first of all, we are happy that this call has largely not been heeded by the Ghanaian public. As you monitor the countryside, largely, this call has not been heeded. Because the Ghanaian people are discerning and can see through some of the, games on election night that candidates play. But we think it must be categorically said that it is utterly irresponsible and it flies in the face of good conduct and even the peace pact that the candidates signed a few days ahead of the election. I want to show you the true nature of some of these candidates. The peace pact that the candidates signed, I think President Akufo-Addo, Mr. Mahama, I think there were other parties that got a rep or so to sign.
Election Eye. The Election Eye. We have you covered. The Election Eye. The Election Eye. We have you covered. The Election Eye. The Election Eye. The Election Eye. The Election Eye. We have you covered.
Candidates rather egging their supporters on after they have signed this peace pact, egging their supporters on to jubilate. And I'm explaining to you that nobody is a kid in this country. That is dog whistle for get out there and, celebrate. They go on. That they hereby commit themselves and supporters to continue to conduct their campaigns in a peaceful manner, that they undertake to accept the results of the election and concede to the winner accordingly. Then they commit to a number of things in it. After signing this, you now have candidate Mahama himself, not his campaign or his party. Those ones, you understand the party portion. But now you have the candidate himself asking his supporters that they have a right to jubilate. And like I've said to you, it's a dog whistle for asking them to go out. We want to, as a government of Ghana, strongly urge all candidates to desist from such conduct. It has the potential to raise tensions, to heighten anxiety, and most importantly, it will leave your supporters severely disappointed if and when an eventual loss is occasioned for you. And so we think that the responsible thing to do as a government at this point in time is to call it out and let the public know, don't fall for that. Item number 3. As you are aware, Ghana has had about 8 successful elections since the 1992 Constitution was rolled out. The Electoral Commission has a proven track record of successfully conducting elections. This EC has come under a barrage of criticisms from this particular candidate. But as we can all attest to, so far, the exercise of this election has generally, the part conducted by the EC has generally been smooth. No candidate should at this stage get into this exercise of seeking to undermine the work of the EC. It is most irresponsible, and it would endanger the peace of this country. Now, another matter worth speaking to is the attack on the media. Again, if you listen to the candidate's commentary, and the commentary by, I think, the General Secretary of his party immediately following afterwards, they are now attacking the Ghanaian media, that you are now in the business of churning out fake results. I'm sure you heard that you are now in the business of churning out fake results. Everybody knows that the media in Ghana, independent, experienced in observing elections at collation centers, does the simple exercise of bringing in the numbers and doing the analysis. And this election, let's commend the Ghanaian media. Many of you have invested in software that allows you to do interesting analysis, do comparisons, etc. You are beginning to notice, just like what the outgoing president of the US of A has been doing. Candidate Mahama is now suggesting that the numbers that the Ghanaian media are churning out and the collation that the Ghanaian media is beginning to do, which you have done in previous elections, are false and are fake. And we think that, again, it is important to call it out. This is not the first time that you see a candidate begin to make such allegations when they know something that maybe the rest of the population don't know. And that's why I cited the example of the US, where the US president, who is outgoing now, consistently been attacking the media as being fake news, enemies of the people, etc., etc. We're beginning to observe a bit of it here. And we think it's important not to let it slide, but to draw your attention to this. Now, again, another claim is being introduced into the conversation, and it's important to draw the country's attention to it, that Mr. Mahama's party says that it has won majority of the regions, and therefore it can extrapolate that it ought to win the presidential election. For the avoidance of doubt, we need to remind everybody of what the rules of engagement are and what the facts are. The rules of engagement is in Article 63, Clause 3 of the Constitution 1992. And I'll read you just a little bit of it. It says, a person shall not be elected as the president of Ghana unless at the presidential election the number of votes cast in his favor is more than 50% of the total number of valid votes cast at the election. It has absolutely nothing to do with the regions that you claim or you purport to have won. The constitutional provision of who wins a presidential election is in Article 63, Clause 3. Please take time and read it and educate the Ghanaian public that if any candidate comes to tell you that he thinks that he has won a region which he thinks is big, therefore he should be the next president, or a collection of regions. Ghana's election is not an electoral college like what happens in the US. Ghana's election, in accordance with Article 63, Clause 3, is simple. You have to win 50% plus 1 of the votes for the presidential election. And so please, this misinformation or disinformation that is being introduced into the Ghanaian election as it goes on is important that we call it out so that the general public does not fall for it and begin to correlate that, oh, therefore, if this person wins X number of regions, then he should be declared president. No, there's an exercise for doing that, and that exercise, we understand, is being done by the Electoral Commission. In conclusion, the Electoral Commission has proven, I think over the last 8 elections, it has the capacity to do that which is doing. We want to urge the general Ghanaian population and all other stakeholders to remain calm, to remain vigilant, yes, and to follow the EC's processes and the updates that the EC will give us, and not be moved by comments now by a presidential candidate to do otherwise. And this is what we believe the government ought to put out at this stage in the election tonight. I'll do a quick summary, and then I will take your questions. If we're in church, I'll say, and you are normally adofo. Rena Moshia and Wahasi. Mamum, your friend Waha, a ensemble Munumi and Sabi. Mifia say, no, Michiremu say, the entire Menamijana Hakas, and he said, many Minister of Information. But Abatwe, Mizunami, a candidate. Kasa make and yet parties and assembly maker. Ghana buying and a air Kasa, and a simi so say me, and a main Kasa Magana buying. The entire you bring Ghana buying any or my needing common say, presidential candidates Nebako, Yura Mahama. Ababa ntin be central phone shim be don hwere baako ni fa ana be don hwere baako ni na oke kansem bi ansem no aban susu enye MPP party aban and the entire meeting ni say there's a difference between me as candidate and me as Minister of Information for the Republic. Ghana aban susu say we say ye ka ho asem bi o say ono ne party enye majority of parliament o say ni supporters emfiase enyomani eno e kasakwa they all kind of so mountain single chrome and Germany de say omadi nkunim or say EC no katasumu muaso asesa election results no na soldier for krampo ka ho bi na onim Ghana bakosem asansem we say be yentoto na say ensem a wotepe e wo say yetu eho anamo na say na Ghana ban ese wo sansem we ho de di kan say presidential candidate bi anase Yewura Mahama as any party winning parliamentary majority, Pacho Mogo Sabri. The entire Mogo is Ghana parliamentary elections. Your returning officers were 275 collation centers. More central for now, more 275 collation centers. Obi obedin kunimbi ha mo na mbo ho dawru anabebwa And it says abre so be a winning parliamentary majority 140 a senka by now mo kan ama ye nyina ayate mumpo a mo 275 obi de otifi on de hu ye ba mo a mo 275 collation centers no mo krampo mo hu ye nkan ti se candidate bi ba be kasa senehu mbogo etoso mienu kasa ko na ode ma na chitafo se o muntin sikrum enye dede nyi omani no se ukan peace pact na no ya o mo ko sign wo na campaign na moving pick yewura mahama omampani akufo ado the chief justice oni na de omsabe sha ase ese sabre ya ye kwa koto abe na se abato brisi eni embe bia wo chitafo krampo ya ebetumi di oye ni aba no wo krampo no wo de wo sa shekrata ase se wo betu omfo ahwema o mate asan mo manye sade se de yewura mahama na one ne mpanimfo hye o chitafo kutu pase o monti insikum de ye de ni se o mo kan so de wani hwe kuruma obi an shedan ni akire ye boga na fo abaso na mom e wo se ye bo mu kokko se sabre yisi mpanimfo ke ko mo ne ma bom no so obi petu be catcher candidate petu be catcher se tisi krom ye ye a emu ayuram kakra isan se ebetumi e the tension akosoro yeti asese campaigns mienu na woman na we afre central for na we afre central for no obi aka na sem na sa fi candidate na nkasa be kasa no anase ntinka we okan na nka o mampani akufo ado anase obi fufuro so candidate ne kasa e the tension e be kosoro ebi o de ya wo ho krampo ni se sa wo ye wo supporters say na be ba no wadi nkugu a o makoma beti eno ade a ye bokoko etwe obi adwen eba begina so so be kai Ghana ya to ababa ye mpren wotwe since I ba 1992 democratic dispensation yimu isi wa kire se onim nadwuma ye parties to mini ni assemble wa kire se onim nadwuma ye but say adwuma yi e koso sabre ye du ni mpempenso yi na candidate ankasa etutu bi mani isi no suggest okay can some to say isi person dani figures no na soldier for kra ka ho ne ade no e ade e wo say ye tudun ye tumre kire si no bia ho say enya sempa wo say obi a edi akire ebio se o cassette ya Ghanaian media say mo se entro na moody figures na mo bobo na entro na moody Ghana bato ye di ye kire media imu na mo ba bia mutumi hwehwem na mutumi ebeka so ya kan wo polling station we di nkunim we di nkugo na mo akeka abom afie we kra de matoto computers ne software ye hwe twi ni brofo a mugina ho na mo point trotro wo so kire se modwuma na konanim afa mo na yewura mahama kire se de amoka na nye nokore ye pese obi ate ase se saa suban we eti se US man pani yewura Trump obedi nkugo no afi o se central for no omno time o man no omno ye fake media ne nkeka ho ne ade ti obi ama ne ni na ho na sansam na yewura mama ne campaign ka fa central for ho no central for mabom ho modern sa election we say bone e wo se bom abaso na nye se etwemo abo so ansana manenka bibin fa sa allegations about the media about the military yewura mama wa Ghana man penida a former Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, the immediate past Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. Onona sabre ochi Ghana bambo for annual form. Ona sabre oki kan sem so omo na omudina collation centers ebuama ewiem enye no kreba kokkrada. Ye nyina enum hihye ne mra eda election. Ukofa ballot boxer. Police for na soldier for wo ho kwan say omode their protocol say friend the minimum amount of force and I say the requisite amount of force estopo nti so obi akofa ballot box na omabolutuo ana obi mu attack collation center na say police for ni soldier for a prevent them from getting there makwan say obekọ akogina say candidate na nkasa na press conference etwe military any bambo for na boso yade dangerous esan say the baby a omno mbebo e ho ban ebi o say ebom kokko ansa na de twato yewura mahama ne party kan asem bi say omo susu say omawini regions ba yan kan 10 regions enti omo susu omawini 10 regions e wo say omo wini presidential no by the way presidential no omo ntumi nka ho asem so far omo kan no de atete but omo start introducing common say omo susu say omawini 10 regions enti e wo say omo wini presidential no. So we can Ghana American Constitution Article 63 clause 3. O can the preface says all person do mampenia. Also winning 50% plus 1 of presidential votes and your regions. Mr. Ghana election, any US electoral college, the say region way can say into say and I say the number of votes. In fact, I need to know parliamentary votes. Who calculating in here? And we have said TV network back. Who calculating parliamentary votes? And most party projects say, Omampeni party, no MPP would have won about 53.8% of the parliamentary votes, even though parliamentary seats.